Hi there. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about terminology. Um, I feel that it's important as an autistic person um, to try to explain to non-autistic people or even autistic people that terminology, words, are powerful. Words are the most powerful thing on earth. They can destroy, they can create, they can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you hate, they can make you love. Words are so important. So I know that a lot of people think, oh, terminology, why does it matter? And to a lot of minorities, terminology might not matter. But I tell you where terminology does matter and why it's so important to change the way that we approach the language around autism. And it's for the children. It's hard enough as an adult to accept how different you are. Whether you are gay, whether you are black, whether you are ginger, whether you are autistic, whether you are short, whether you are tall. It's very hard sometimes to not fit in. But as a child, it's so much harder. It is so much harder as a child. It's scary. It's debilitating. I know how hard it is for a parent to try to explain to their autistic child exactly what being autistic is. I understand that it wasn't how you envisioned your relationship with your child to be. But a lot of things in life just don't always turn out like we want them to, but we have to adapt. Darwin always says that those of us who will evolve have to adapt. So we can evolve as parents, we can evolve as autistic people, we can evolve as a human race by simply making people feel better about who they are. And I think the way that starts is language, is terminology. So I want the parents, I want the teachers, I want anybody who works in assessing autistic children, or adults, but obviously mostly children, to change the terminology of diagnosis, which by its very definition is a negative. It means that you have assessed and found out about a problem or a disease or a condition. And I want to get away from that. I want to get away, from the whole disorder, condition, disability. How you as a parent want to think of your child is your prerogative. if you're autistic and you want to think of yourself as having a condition or a disability, that's your prerogative. But I honestly, and this is from experience of talking to a lot of autistic children, I do autistic photography trips, I do autistic school talks at primary schools, and I meet a lot of autistic children. I have autistic friends who have autistic children, and I know as an autistic child, because that's what I was. I was a child and I was autistic and I was very different and I was very badly treated and I didn't understand why. Everybody seemed to pick on me, you know, even my own mother would hurt me physically, mentally. I went through a terrible time. So I know what it's like to be that child, and I just know that if we could change the terminology of diagnosis to discover, it would make a huge difference to that child when a parent or a teacher or whoever it is that explains it to that child, who, you know, says to that child, this is who you are, rather than saying we've diagnosed you with a condition, that condition is autism, autism is a disability. I cannot imagine that sounding good at all. Whether or not you think it's a disability is irrelevant in this situation. I don't think it's a disability. I think our comorbid conditions can be very disabling, but that is irrelevant. I think when it comes to terminology for children, I think discover is just, it just sounds better. And you are autistic, in other words, you are part of a minority group that can do amazing things, like using an ability that lives within inside every autistic person, a superpower as I call them. You know, focus on those things. You know, I do these school talks, it's all positive, it's all happiness and pride within autism. And it's so important for that kid to sort of feel good about themselves, you know, rather than, you know, you're disabled. And I don't think disabled is a bad word, but it does sound bad to a child. You always have to remember that you've got to see it through the child's eyes. And the thing is that I have something called Peter Pan syndrome, which means I don't really grow up. So in my mind, I always have this childlike mind. I mean, that's literally mine. And I live within this childlike mind. And I also have an eidetic memory, and I remember every little detail as it was to be a child and to be treated so badly as a child, and to always think that I was broken, that I was wrong, that I was bad, that I wasn't as good as everyone else. There was something wrong with me, and there wasn't anything wrong with me. There was just something different about me. And this is it. It's a difference, not a disability. It's a difficulty, not a disability. It's not a disorder. It is just the fact that we are who we are. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much for listening. I love you all. Thanks.